Good day, everybody. It's Calxiyn and Hunter here, and if you guys enjoy this video, you should subscribe for more RWBY videos. Check out the Patreon if you guys want to support the channel, and join our Discord server if you guys want to talk with us. Today, we are going to be talking about a theory that we've had for like a good month now. Since Penny got hacked, we've had this theory, but we haven't had enough of a theory to make a whole video about it. However,
but when has that stopped us before?
Well, this YouTube comment gave us the last piece of the puzzle, and so now I think that we have enough to make like a full-fledged video. So we didn't before, but now we have this comment that I will be reading. But first, let's go back to the beginning. What was our original thought? Starting with Penny being hacked, I sort of, posited that maybe Salem would start to get sick of Cinder and realize that now she has a robot that can seem to have the maiden powers, and so she is malleable, she is hackable, she's controllable.
She won't run off.
She won't disobey.
Don't backtalk.
She will just be in complete control of Penny. That was our idea, that Watts giving her Penny will make Salem realize that now she can safely discard of Cinder, possibly. And so we talked about the ways that that could happen, and something that we were sort of thinking about, that Salem just wants the maidens to be the keys. They're just tools. She doesn't care about the maiden powers. She cares about having the maiden powers to unlock the vaults. And I feel like that's a very specific and distinct thing that we need to make clear, is that Salem does not care about collecting the maiden powers. That is something that she promised Cinder, so Cinder can get her ultimate power or whatever Cinder wants. That is just something that she has promised her, but she herself does not care. The maidens could unlock the vault and then she's done with them. She hasn't gone after Raven. She doesn't care anymore because now the vault has been unlocked and the relic is out of the vault. So she's not going around being like, let's go find Raven Branwen. I think that she doesn't care about Raven anymore because Raven has already done the task. She was just a tool. She has already been used, and now the utilization of Raven has come to an end because the relic of knowledge is already within her grasp anyway, so it really doesn't matter. However, with Cinder's situation, Cinder needs to be kept around because she needs to unlock the Veil Vault, and she needs Jin to ask where the Veil relic is so Cinder can go get it. But after Cinder goes to get it, we were personally thinking that Salem will discard her because there will be no use for her anymore. She already unlocked it. She's being, disobedient. Why give her more maiden powers when instead you could just kill her and get rid of her? And I do think that a point that Hunter made a couple of weeks ago is definitely right, that Salem does need people to support her, and if she just picks people off like flies, that could be a problem, because she's starting to run out of people that are on her side.
Not only, for her practically, but also narratively, if you run out of interesting villains to have.
And so I feel like that in that situation, it would make sense that Salem wouldn't want to, instantly just kill Cinder. Cinder is still loyal. However, I feel like in the past couple episodes, it has been made very clear to Salem that Cinder is not as loyal as previously thought. That Cinder is actually very disobedient, and that this could actually be causing more harm than good. Because think about it, if Penny wasn't outside fighting, if Cinder didn't attack, the hack would have gone through, and Penny would just be there in Amity Arena. She wouldn't fall out of the sky, and she wouldn't have had to send the Hound to go find her, because she would be in the place that they expected her to be from the very start. She wouldn't have to go outside and lift Amity. The only reason they had to do that was because Cinder broke everything. And so Cinder is starting to cause more problems with getting the current maiden powers and could be discarded. The thing was, we didn't really think about how this could go. Obviously, Salem can just kill her. Salem can kill any of them at any given moment. However, I think that it would be more interesting to do what this YouTube comment said. And so, I guess in this video, we were talking about Uno reverse card, and the Uno reverse card was, instead of Salem giving Penny's powers to Cinder, she would instead want Cinder's powers to go into Penny. We've talked about that concept a lot. But this commenter actually illustrated how that would be done, and this is so smart. So Emerald Morgan over on YouTube, and they have the little subscriber icon, so they've been subscribed for a while. So they Galaxy Brain. This is so good. This is such a good idea. So that Uno reverse thing just gave me a thought. I feel like that Salem is getting ready to screw Cinder over. Yes. This is what I predict is going to happen. When Cinder's Grim Arm grabs onto Penny to get ready to take away her powers, Salem will then take control of the arm, and instead of Cinder absorbing the maiden power, it'll transfer from Cinder into Penny. And so basically, I'm Cinder and Hunter's Penny. So usually it would go like this, right? That the power would come out of Penny and go into Cinder. Instead, Cinder is basically going to have the switch flipped on her. Salem is going to go, go, wah! And then Cinder's powers will start to go into Penny. And so I think that it would be interesting if first the powers are taken away from Cinder without killing her, because I'm not sure if that's possible or not. Like, it did seem like when Pyrrha was gonna do that with Amber, it would kill her, but I think that was just because of the circumstances with Amber, and like Freya also died. So I'm just sort of wondering, but it would be cool if maybe what happens is that Cinder realizes what's happening and she pulls her arm off. Like, she's able to get that much control and she's just a half maiden again, like she was all the way back in Volume 3. And so this would keep Cinder as an antagonist, so this would keep Cinder around. However, it would start to show the true intentions of Salem. I think that would be cool. So either two things. Cinder realizes in time, pulls her arm away, and is a half-maiden, and starts to go around and cause trouble. We've had these theories about Emerald getting redeemed and leaving, and things like that. So she could be the third faction that we have sort of discussed in previous videos, that she will sort of be the anti-hero that's running around, and she'll still be against the heroes and against Salem, but she'll be a third faction. Or maybe she'll work with the heroes sometimes just to get at Salem, but she still will fight against the heroes.
That was kind of our half sort of Cinder redeemed ideas that we've been throwing around the past couple months.
The other alternate option is that she's a half maiden, she goes back to Salem, and she's like, bro, what the fuck? And Salem, like, you know, tries to finish business. And so I feel like that either way, that would result in Cinder leaving. Because it's like, hey, you need the other half of the maiden powers, I still have leverage, and then she would just fuck off, right? And so I feel like that would be really compelling if we see that Cinder finally has her arm on Penny, right? Like people have been like fucked up in the mansion or whatever, and she's sucking it out, but then it goes wah, and then it starts going the other way, and Cinder's like, what the fuck? It would be such a good
Neo
scene.
goes red in the eyes and she flies away with both of the maiden powers.
Yeah, or Penny.
Or Penny flies away.
Yeah, Penny like wakes up and she just flies away, and Cinder's like, what? And I feel like that would be really good for the audience too, because that would be like, we think Penny's in danger, we think Penny's in for it, but then Penny's the one that's actually getting the powers, and then that would be like a whole big thing, right?
I think it would be two things that I imagine happening is, I've had the idea for a while now that, I mean, we're going under the assumption that one person can have two maidens' powers. What if that's not the case? Salem always lied to Cinder and always had the understanding that there was going to be like, she kept on promising more and more when really there was a definite level to her skills and her abilities.
I think that would be interesting, but the problem with that is like all this magic came from Ozpin, and so my question has always been, well, why? Like, unless it's just the random magical rules that Ozpin seemed to have imposed, why would it prevent somebody from having two sets of powers? Because Ozpin at one time had all four sets. Right? And so that's my sort of question, unless it just has to do with the mortal body compared to Ozpin and Salem's bodies, which are from the old world. The other question I would have is that Raven has magic from Ozpin, and then she also has the maiden power.
True.
So does that magic not operate under the same print? Because obviously it doesn't, right? The bird powers don't transfer, but I'm thinking of this as just raw magic. You have one magic, and there's a second magic, and like one person can't have two magic, and I'm talking about Cinder getting both sets of maiden powers. Then why would Raven have one magic and one other magic? And so that's my question, is how, like, I don't know how this would operate, unless there's an arbitrary block that Ozpin put on it that one person cannot have multiple sets.
Maybe it kind of has to do with the transfer of souls and the transfer of auras, and you can't have more than one soul in a body.
Or it would start clashing and things like that.
Or like maybe she does get it, but it starts affecting her very negatively.
I think that would actually be a good alternative.
A second thing I imagine happening is that I really like the idea of the kind of Uno reverse card arm, but I also like the idea of it kind of clinging onto Penny, latching onto her, and then kind of once was sort of the stump that connected to her shoulder kind of crawls up and latches on more to
I
Cinder.
think that would be good.
And then maybe after it sucks either half or some of it, the whole grim limb just falls off of Cinder, and she then has to operate with just one arm.
Damn.
I think that would be an interesting sort of thing if, like, visually...
So it just kills her entire arm.
Yeah, it gets rid of the arm. I think that would be interesting visually or metaphorically if we do see a kind of Cinder, not redemption, or at least change in her allegiances. Maybe she gets a robot arm?
What could happen is that Cinder is, doing the thing. She's getting the powers from Penny. It starts to reverse, and Cinder's like, what do we do? What do we do? And Neo just goes, whack! And so they actually chop off Cinder's arm in order for her to keep the other half of the powers. That would actually be more visually compelling to me, because if it also had a redemption side of it, right? If the Cinder's getting redeemed, that also represents her cutting herself off from Salem.
I'm thinking
she's
would
Salem
Neo
has betrayed
do it,
her.
or would like RWBY do it?
Maybe
thinking she would.
She could save her, right?
Like save Penny, like not even considering what's happening to Cinder, just like with Crescent Rose slicing.
I'm just sort of thinking if Emerald or Neo or that, like, what if Emerald cuts it off
Emerald doing
to
it,
save Cinder, and then Cinder gets mad, like, what did you do? But then Emerald was like, didn't you see? Like, it was taking your powers. Like, you could have done, like, something like that where there's a conflict that Emerald actually cuts it off. Cinder didn't want it to be cut off, but then Cinder realizes that Emerald was only protecting her, and if it wasn't cut off, like, Cinder could have died, or her powers could have been, like, fully taken away. I think we have some good ideas here.
I do like that. I like the idea of her, like, that way she can still kind of be a half maiden.
Yeah.
I like the idea of I like the idea of Cinder still being more powerful than a lot of, like, most people.
Yeah.
Even though, considering she was still powerful in, like, Volume 3, even before she became
I just think it would be cool to go back to that Volume 3, like, oh, now I need the other half of the like, you know, as a parallel.
That also helps
to
that
the past.
she doesn't become too OP if she does join with the good guy
But
side.
I actually like the idea of, like, RWBY or, like, Blake or whoever, like, whoever's in the manor, or maybe this would even happen a little later, I'm not sure, but, like, whoever's with her just chopping off her arm, and then that's, like, the severing, and then they'd be their own little faction.
Do you also think that if Penny, like, is a somewhat long-term fixture of Salem's team, that we might then kind of, like, postpone, I mean, we've talked a bit about kind of nuts and bolts, maybe postpone that to, like, later near the end of the show.
I think that the
RWBY
thing about
saves Penny and they have a moment.
is that also helps with the character problem of, well, Tyrion and Mercury just fucked off, Hazel's defecting, Emerald's defecting, right? And so to slowly, like, gather more villains, like Penny being hacked for a considerable amount of time actually makes a lot of sense.
I also, I like that. I also like the idea, like, people might hate this, but if there's kind of like a Shadow the Hedgehog edgy villain redesign of Penny, that might be really
like
bad.
That
might be really, like, just, for lack of a better term, like, try-hardy.
I kind of vibe with that.
There's a chance, if so long as they don't make it just like the Shadow the Hedgehog.
I actually saw this art of, like, what would Watts' daughter be if Watts got to do it, and it was this art, like, long black hair and, like, more of a Watts outfit, like a purple skirt, like, with the yellow, like, you know those sort of, like, accordion looking skirts that have the purple on the outside, yellow in the...
Have you ever seen the like the female or the woman cosplays, the crossplays of Waluigi?
Yeah.
I imagine it would look a little bit like that.
People were saying that, so imagine if, like, Watts just dresses up Penny to be more like him or something, as a final fuck you to Pietro, that like you just take Penny's hair off, install new hair, like that would kind of be cool, because then it's not just edgy Penny, it's Watts taking ownership over Penny. And
that's also good
sad.
Because then you have something for Watts to do into the future, that connection, so you can keep him around.
Exactly.
These are just ideas. Who even knows what's happening?
Who
but
even
I think that could be cool.
But that's never stopped us before.
I do hope that we see some more like turncoat Cinder. I like the idea of her having, like, kind of like maybe a black red robot arm, sort of similar to Ironwood's new ones. I think that would look good with her.
About where she'd get that, though, like, that's the question,
just
right?
Just steal it from the Atlas military.
Damn.
She's already there.
Don't you have to be fitted and stuff? Like, I don't know. I don't know how it works. These are our ideas for this theory. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys next time. Hopefully, this is close to when the hiatus is ending.
Oh, God.
We're pre-recording, like, very in advance, so hopefully this, little something with the theories here. But yeah, just to let you guys know, this was recorded like it is the 4th of January, in case you need a time check. So yeah, we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!